Good evening and welcome to today's video. Yeah, let's just get straight into it. So I was on my social media earlier this week and this article came up on my news feed from the BBC website. The article is discussing NHS prescription charges. Labour government, should they come into power, is pledging to stop NHS prescription charges. So I just want to give a wider context to this. So basically, in England, people either pay for medication, or if you hit certain criteria, whether you're, for example, over 60, under 16, in full-time education, tax credit exemption, etc., you don't pay for your medication, and you tick and sign to verify that you don't pay. If you're not in that criteria, then you end up paying. You pay £9 per item. Now, I don't like to get political on this channel. For me, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot, sort of past year or so, ever since I became qualified as a pharmacist. Like I said, I don't want to become political. Any party could have said that. It just happens to be that the Labour Party have said that. So first off, let's just disregard that this political party said it, and I just want to approach it on the basis of the article that I've read, and in terms of increasing or getting rid of the prescription charge. So, like I said, currently people pay, if they're not exempt, then they pay £9 for the medication. Now, personally, I think that when I saw that article, I was shocked and surprised. Personally, I feel that every single person should be paying for their medication. Now, let me get this clarified clearly. In this country, we're very fortunate we have the NHS. We have an NHS that is absolutely amazing, and I'm proud to be a part of it. But saying that, the way the state of the NHS is at the minute isn't great. There's massive amounts of underfunding, there's understaffing, and from a pharmacy point of view, it's never been worse. Being a pharmacist right now, I feel at times under so much pressure. I feel at times that we're understaffed. I feel that at times no one really listens to what grassroots pharmacists and people working on the front line actually think. And I genuinely believe this is an instant where there's just a lack of clarity or connection between the people who make decisions and the people actually working on the front line, dealing with patients and medication on the day-to-day basis like I do. So, this article obviously came out, and I'm going to basically go through why I disagree with this. So, I'm just going to attach another photo now. So this photo I saw also on social media, and this is from the NHS A Million account on Instagram. So this photo shows some waste medication being dropped off at a surgery with an estimated cost of over £2,500. So this medication, it's in its original boxes, it's unused, and unfortunately, because it's been to the patient, it has to be binned. Even though it's not been used, it has to be binned. Now, it's situations like this is why I feel there should be a prescription charge for every single person. Unfortunately in this country, or fortunately I suppose in this country, 95 or even I'd say 98, 99% of us use the medication correctly. And use it in a timely manner. We only order 1 month at a time, and we don't stockpile medication. Now, in a photo like this isn't uncommon. This is unfortunately, I wouldn't say it's common, but it happens far too often. And we've got to remember that we're paying for this. As a taxpayer, I'm paying for it. For those of you watching, you guys are all taxpayers, and you're also paying for that medication that's, in essence, it's going to be put in the bin because it's not been used and it's been out of the pharmacy, so it can't be reused. So when this article came up, and then this photo on the NHS Million account came up, this is one of the biggest reasons why I don't feel medication should be free. Personally, I feel that if it's an emergency, if you're going to A&E, yes, it should be free, and I feel it should be free in this country. If you're going to the doctor, it should be free. And if you're getting referred from the GP, it should be free. But unfortunately, we have a small percentage of the population who aren't using the free medication service, in my opinion, correctly. I'm sure that if you go up and down the country and you speak to pharmacy teams, a significant majority would be in agreement with me on this, and that patients on the front line should be paying for their prescription because of instances like this, where there's overordering, it doesn't get used, and it simply gets binned. Now, unfortunately, we can't separate people who are using the medication rightly who aren't, which is frustrating. You've got to view it as a blanket issue, but I don't see another way forward. Now, the other thing you've got to think of as well is, like, the NHS at the minute isn't in a great place, and I just wonder, like, where is the funding for this going to come from? Now, and it's just a question. I don't know. I don't know where the funding is going to come from. I think that patients should be charged. So how much do I think should be? Well, I don't have the answer to that. I really don't. But for me, I'd rather see every single patient pay for the medication. Now, it should be just a token fee, maybe like a 10 pence per item or something like that. It's just, in my opinion, the minute you say something is free, it loses its value, in my opinion. Now, if patients were charged a minimum amount of 10p or 50p per script or per item, they probably wouldn't stockpile it. They would take better care of it, and probably more likely to take it in line with what doctor or what the prescription shares or what the discussions have been with other health or the people they've been in contact with regarding their health. I also personally feel that we should start putting the cost of medication on prescriptions, so patients are aware of how much it is costing, how much it's costing the NHS. So again, they're informed and they realise that, yes, we pay taxes for, obviously, to get free healthcare, but it isn't free. Like, it costs money, and like I said, the way the NHS is at the minute, I just think that every penny or every pound does eventually add up. Now, the other reason I want to move towards everyone paying is because I've seen a handful of times where people have come into the pharmacy and said, like, I genuinely can't afford to pay for this medication. But the problem is they're above the line to get the medication free, so they end up paying for it. And I'm put in a position where, you want to help that patient, but and then you can't do anything. So maybe moving towards, it's currently cost £9 per item on the NHS if you pay. So maybe let's move it down and make it more affordable for those who do pay and do need regular medication. I think the key thing I want to bring home is I don't want to stop anyone getting medication. I just think that right now, and the way the healthcare system is in the UK or in England, it's unsustainable. Now, the cost of the amount of medication in that photo would be about, I think, £2,500, 2.5k, 3k, and that was delivered to a GP surgery, so it wasn't even delivered to a pharmacy. Now, you imagine if you're getting that sort of £2,000, and you're getting that every single day in a pharmacy. I know that's not the case, but I'm just giving an exaggeration here. There's 11,000 pharmacies in the UK. Now imagine if 11,000 pharmacies were getting that amount of stock back as waste every single day. 11,000 pharmacies times by £2,000 worth of unused medication, and that's just pharmacies. That doesn't include GP surgeries, it doesn't include diabetic clinics, doesn't include, for example, maybe A&E, etc, etc. Can you see the point I'm trying to get across here? It worries me about the amount of wastage that's happening, especially in such a critical time with the NHS and how under stress the whole system is. So I don't know if my solution is the right solution. That's a solution I have as someone who is a health professional, who works in a pharmacy every single day, who has spoken to pharmacy teams, having seen a lot of medication come back, more than that's in that photo, come back off patients on not a regular basis, but a frequent basis. That's the solution I come up with. I just want to jump back to the article. Seeing an article like that shows just a lack of understanding between, in my opinion, a lack of understanding between what happens on grassroots level and what could work and what decisions are made at a higher level, in my opinion. And, like I said, I'm just going off what I see, and the people who make these decisions, I don't know how much time they spend on the grassroots level. If I'm being honest, I don't think a great deal. And that's in essence something else that frustrates me, and hopefully a video like this I can put across what's going on at grassroots levels, what's going on in the pharmacy, in the community pharmacy, what's going on day to day, because something like that, an article like that from the BBC and with obviously the Labour government's aims, I just don't think works. I really don't think works. And some people are going to come back at me and say, well, Wales get their prescriptions free. I think Scotland do as well. Well, that's fine, but again, I don't think that's right, personally, based on again what I've seen. Again, if you're vulnerable and you genuinely can't afford it, then yes, have it for free. But right now, I just don't feel the system's working in that extent. I think that the most vulnerable people who are just above, I suppose, the breadline aren't being able to afford the medication. And funny enough, the people who tend to pay for the medication tend to take it well and more compliant and concordant with the medication. But the fundamental issue is that seeing a photo like that, it isn't an isolated incident. It isn't isolated, it happens more frequently than it should do. So I don't know what the solution is. This is like I said, that's my solution. My two solutions are everyone pays and we have a slight sub fee, a subscription fee or nominal fee, like a 10p or 50p per item, just so we attach value to it, and we maybe write down how much each medication is costing on the prescription or on the label or in the box or something, just so people are aware of how much it costs, how much medication costs, and it's not free. People have to be paid for it. That's sort of my thoughts for this week and this video. Please let me know what you think. Do you guys have a better way? This is my way, this is my thinking. I don't know if it's right, but I've just got to go with what I see, and when I see photos where they're saying free prescriptions and then almost in the same day I'm seeing someone bring back over nearly 2.5, 3 grand's worth of medication unused, I feel like I have to say something, because it's not right. In my opinion, it's not right. Like I said, there's a lack of communication between, I feel, grassroots and the people who make the decisions, and I think that, yeah, that wastage is just unacceptable in the climate we're in. Like, and the other obviously issue as well at the minute is we're struggling to get hold of some medications, so it only compounds the problem, it only adds to the problem in terms of also getting hold of medications. So yeah, let me know what you think. This is just my opinion based on what I see. Let me know in the comments, drop me a message if you disagree or agree with me, or you can think of a better solution. That's the video rounded up for this week and this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.